Hey folks, I just found a video, part of one, where I did an interview with Carlos on the phone. Little Joe's gonna make it go up, blah blah blah, public today. So here you are. Here's 46 minutes of me and Carlos talking. It cut off at the very end, so a couple of times it's obvious I was having issues that night. Well, appreciate y'all. Remember, God loves you, and so do we. Bye. Hey folks, how you doing? Papa Joe here. I happen to have Carlos on the phone.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We was talking earlier. Let me lay this up here a little closer to him. That might help. We was talking earlier, and Carlos told me about an article he was reading, and we was also talking about doing a little video tonight for the heck of it. Actually, last night, but we didn't get around to it until tonight. This article was about rainbow-colored crosswalks. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that article there, Carlos.
Sure. So actually, let me go ahead and read the article. Just the first little web page of it. It's pretty interesting, and what it is the gist of it is that the city of Albuquerque, New Mexico, they felt the need to show how inclusive they are of the LGBT community,
Yeah.
right? They wanted to show their sponsorship, if you will, of that community, and they wanted to show their support by actually painting rainbow-colored crosswalks in all sorts of colors of the rainbow, obviously. So just how it sounds, that's how it looks. So let me read to you just a quick little half-page, Papa Joe, okay?
Go for it.
All right, so according to QRQE News in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a motorcyclist who police say vandalized a recently painted rainbow-colored crosswalk in Nob Hill area is facing felony charges. According to a quote from the Albuquerque Police Department, Gilbert Gallego said, "We're not going to tolerate anyone who tries to divide the community in a way like this." So that was what the actual article was forth for, was that there were some bikers who saw the crosswalk, and they proceeded to vandalize it by pretty much trying to do burnouts and doing a new crosswalk, which I do not condone vandalism or crimes of any sort, and I know you don't either, Papa Joe, but this is what actually sparked the nationwide news article now that this has happened. So what it was is, so the city of Albuquerque spent $30,000. Again, let me read that again. $30,000 to paint and to provide the freshly painted rainbow crosswalk. The amount of vandalism caused by the burnout of the motorcyclist will cost the city an additional $1,700. So in total, guys, it's $47,000 spent of, well, it didn't come really from the city. It didn't come from the LGBT community. This came from taxpayers. This came from taxes that are proposed and funded through programs that you and I pay for out of our paychecks, out of our whatever, however we make money, and those taxes, they use our money to fund programs like this.
Well, first off, I was under the impression, which surprised me to find out differently, when we talked about it, you thought it was in California. Now,
Exactly.
because that's the kind of stunt they would pull. However, I am not totally surprised to hear that it is in Albuquerque. You know, because New Mexico is a very democratic state.
Yeah.
What is that? Blue, I think. I don't go by all that red and blue and stuff.
Yeah, I can't really tell you, but what really struck a chord with me, Papa Joe, is what the actual city and people-funded police department in Albuquerque, what they said. Okay, so let me read it again, okay, because this is a complete oxymoron, meaning they're saying something that they're not doing, and ironically, they're actually doing something that they are themselves admitting that they oppose. He said, again, we're not going to tolerate people who try to divide the community in a way like this. So if we don't agree with the Rainbow Crosswalk, meaning the straight community, or folks like me that just don't believe in that, that's just not the lifestyle that I would choose, and that's not something that I agree with. I have my own beliefs, my own way of living, and how things should go, and according to the Bible, man is man, woman is woman, and God made us a partner, and that's a woman to man.
Yep.
Not a man to man or a woman to woman. So having said that, again, I'm going to read this. We're not going to tolerate people who try to divide the community in a way like this. So how I'm reading this, Papa Joe, wouldn't you think the city is imposing the LGBT community beliefs on folks like me that don't believe in that? They're causing the divide by doing that.
Well, exactly.
Right.
And that's why I've been so opposed to all this being forced down our throats. I know you watched enough of my videos that I've been saying for a long time that where they're trying to, they're not trying to, how do I say this? They are attempting to force you and I to say that their actions are okay. We just totally agree with it and all that. However, they're not leaving me the option, or yourself, the option of saying, no, I don't agree with it. And most of the people that I know, they really don't care what your sexual preference is. It really doesn't come up in any of my conversations. Hey, are you married to a man or a woman? It just doesn't come into the conversation.
Exactly.
But yet they're trying to, instead of just letting me be indifferent on it, and you live your lifestyle and I'll live mine, they're attempting to force us to acknowledge that what they're doing is okay. Well, it's not in my book, just like you said it ain't in your book. So, why are you trying to force me? So who's the divider here? Is it you and I that are just sitting back and just letting them do their thing as long as they're not forcing it on me? Or is it those that are trying to force it on me? Oh.
That whole action and the quote from a city official who the local community votes into their position, okay? Mind you, this is a city official that represents the Albuquerque Police Department, voted in by local community folks like you and I. He doesn't speak for everyone, obviously, because no one thinks exactly the same. We're not robots. We all have our thoughts, feelings, and we see views much differently because that's what makes us people. But this article, and mind you that, we don't want to condone crime. We do not condone what these bikers did because, again, it is a crime to burn out on the street. He just happened to do it on a Rainbow crosswalk, and that's what sparked this whole
Right.
big article. And this is floating around on Facebook. It's floating around on national news. But this just screams hypocrisy. Like,
Yep.
the biggest example of hypocrisy is, hey, how dare this biker create a mess all over this crosswalk? We're not allowing him to do this because we're not going to be divided. This is not how it's going to be. Well, you're creating the divide by not giving me a choice to not look at that. I mean, that is hypocrisy at its best right there. And then the other part of this, a crosswalk might be maybe 100 feet long. I mean, the street that's in the article doesn't look like it's very long. So, just me being me, I guess, folks, but why does paint cost $30,000 of money they didn't actually earn? They taxed the local community, and that's how they got funds. But that costs $30,000 when there's, I'm sure there's homeless, there's veterans, there's kids out on the street that are hungry. There's a zillion other things this money could have gone to.
Well,
That surprisingly is, or not surprisingly, not in the news. What about that?
we don't know how many crosswalks they're talking about.
Yeah.
But if you stop and consider, we're talking about city workers more than likely. And like most of the government funded jobs that we see, you probably had 12 of them leaning on a shovel and the light pole watching the other two guys work. So, you know, at their rates, that could get up there. And yeah, I know that was mean. And I did it on purpose. So, well, see, now there's another thing there. And I read a follow-up on it here a while back, and I don't remember details, and I didn't try to look it up because I'm just now thinking about it. We all remember the bakers. The bakery where they got fined stupid money for not making that cake. Now, they was, what, in Colorado, I think. And these people are, whatever state they was in, this gay couple, I don't remember if it was 2 men or 2 women, it doesn't matter. But they drove across 2 or 3 states to go to this place that they had seen on Facebook that was a Christian shop that did not want to bake these kind of cakes for same-sex marriage. And they lost their court case, the bakery did.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so we have this big ordeal against the Christians. Just here a couple months ago, I seen where somebody was discriminating against the Christians, but yet we still did not have the same outcry, much less the same results that came the other way. So all this is being forced down our throats, and as you and I said earlier, and which is the way I'm going to be leading this video to go, so people can put the blame on me, I don't care. Our government and our court system is trying so hard to force this kind of nonsense down our throats. It is just totally ridiculous. So there lays our problem. It isn't necessarily your thoughts and my thoughts or our beliefs. It is that everyone on the other side is trying to just force it on us. I'm an old rebel. People seem to think, oh, rebel means you're a hater and a racist. No, rebel means I rebel. I don't like nothing being forced on me, especially when it's something that I totally disagree with, you know. But yet here they are. They keep trying to do it and trying. Go ahead.
Well, so while you were sharing your thought right now, I just wanted to see if there was anywhere that actually told us how many crosswalks this amount of money, you know, had funded. And according to ABC News, according to abcnews.com, this is a newly painted single $30,000 crosswalk. This cost, well, so so a normal crosswalk costs 1/6 of this amount.
Wow.
So this one single crosswalk, my friend, cost $30,000. Well, now it's 47 with the fixed job on it. But again, the base price of this is $30,000 for one crosswalk.
And
Incredible.
they couldn't come up with better ways to spend the money than that. So, well, and I'm sorry. To me, my way of thinking, this is just nothing but a way of them buying votes. That is, once again, them trying to stay in power, them being the left, let's just call it where it is, and they're trying to buy votes. Look what they did for us. They really support us. Well, what about the rest of us? I thought our government that we elected in was supposed to be for all the people, not just for selected people.
Yeah. Well, what I'm reading here from from other websites, Papa Joe, is that this is even a bigger deal because this vandalism came actually 3 days before the gay pride parade that was supposed to go on. So now this guy, his name is Anthony Morgan. He now faces felony vandalism of property valued at over $1,000, and he also got a second felony charge of conspiracy to commit criminal damage to property.
See, and the thing is, we have these street racers. I watch that Outlaw Street Racing. I think we watched some of that while you was up there.
Yes, we did.
At least one show, right?
Yep.
So, so the thing is they're not concerned with him doing anything on the streets, being a danger, a hazard, or any of this stuff. Their biggest concern is that he did the burnout on this rainbow crosswalk. Now, what's wrong with this picture? And also to what you were saying, listen to what the article read 3 days before the gay pride parade. So they was literally painted this just for them people. Now, if I know New Mexico, there's a lot of horsemen and all out there, Indians, Mexicans, white, of all nationalities, that are really into their rodeo and all that good stuff. And as a Texan, no, I'm not. I like watching it once in a while, especially bull riding. I won't do it, but I like to watch it. Now, are they going to go out there and paint a bunch of stuff on the streets when they have one of their parades for a rodeo? Why, hell no.
Yeah.
So they are literally catering to this LGBTQ LTSD group, Well, really? Now tell me that ain't trying to buy votes.
Yeah. Well, so here's something else. I mean, I'm telling you what, this story just gets better and better. So, when they took this guy's mugshot, he didn't have his vest on. He's a biker, so he had a vest on and things with the patches and things. So what this news station did was, apparently he had a Facebook post or picture of some kind from a while back, and it looks like, well, they have the picture now posted of him with his leathers on, and he has his vest on, and his street name is Torch, and he's the president of some kind of a biker club.
Yeah.
And they're going to highlight that. I bet you when this happens to go to trial, and news media will be in there, and who else is going to be in there, hooting and hollering in the box.
Yeah.
They are really going to highlight, and hate to even say this, crucify him and just, again, they're going to portray the image of, I mean, man, you know, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
well, trust me, they will do this. They're going to say this is a hate crime.
Yep.
And that carries such other stigma and things that just, I mean, he's already being portrayed as some kind of a crazy biker gang president. That's why they're showing this picture in his leathers. I mean, they're really trying to go there, and I'm sure he's going to get just crucified, and he's not going to get any sort of a fair shake on this.
Nope.
Because they're going to share all these things, and oh, look, a biker, quote-unquote, gang was rolling through the intersections, and they wanted to show their hate, and that's why they did burnout. I bet you this is where all this is going to go, man. I bet you.
Yep. Well, along with that, they're going to have to throw it in there that he's a member of the Klan, and he's a white supremacist, and you know they're going to pull it all out on him.
I'm sure.
And you know, back in the day when I was in school, I could have swore that I read that in our country, you was innocent until proven guilty. And anymore, you're guilty until proven innocent. And you can't argue with that, can you?
Right.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
You know, our conversation the other day went down another little avenue that I'll lead it down again. And that was where we got talking about all these caucuses and what it really was, folks, is we got talking about how our government is trying to force stuff on us. They're having their special interest and all that. And we got talking about the Black Caucus and the Mexican Caucus. I never did do any more homework to see how many caucuses there were. Did you by chance?
I did not.
Yeah, but our whole point is that we have this stuff. We have the BET channel. We have the black-only colleges and different groups and whatnot. And these things are all okay. It don't matter what race it is, as long as it's not the white race. And for you that don't know, yes, I'm a hillbilly. And by his name, can you guess what Carlos is? He's not a hillbilly. All right? So we're not a couple of hillbillies picking on the world. We do happen to be a couple of free thinkers. And we both find that it is very wrong that the white group is being singled out as the bad guy and the only one that's not allowed to be proud of their nationality or anything else. Go ahead and add to that, Carlos.
I mean, yeah. Well, you pretty much hit it all there, but to add, I mean, so we all know that, you know, there are channels like BET, there are channels for the Hispanic community, Univision, Galavision, and...
See, I didn't try to pronounce those. I didn't want you to laugh at me.
Well, that's why you handed me the microphone on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, and folks don't really even care. They don't even... they would actually try to find it very, very strange that those channels wouldn't exist.
Right.
Because they're so common, and they have been around for ages. In fact, there's telethons, there's famous singers. I mean, singers and actors, they actually come out and they break into the industry on shows. They're you know, they're showcasing on these shows. Oh, oh my gosh, you know, this is America's, you know, voice and, you know, the angels and all this other stuff, right? Well, but the minute the question is asked, well, why isn't there a white entertainment TV, like a wet channel? You know, we kind of thought that was funny, right? But the wet channel. So there's a bet channel and there's Hispanic channel. Well, is there no a white entertainment television? Well, that would spark up I mean, so many ill feelings. It would definitely spark scorn from. I don't really think the Hispanic community would really even care, and not that I speak for them, but just in my mind, I could care less who has their channel. If it's programming, I'll watch it. I don't even care. That's how much I don't care, because
Right.
I'm not pro-race, I'm pro-human.
Right.
That's the difference. That's a big difference there. And, you know, you can take it how you want to, but that's how I think. And, you know, just a quick side note, there were some people that even said to me and you, Papa Joe, boy, you guys are pretty much the unlikely pair of friends. You know, and I said, well, why? Well, you know, I mean, he's a hillbilly, and you're a city Mexican. Okay, but we both have the same beliefs. We both have the same, you know, I don't know, faith base. I mean, we're friends because we are respectful of each other, and we don't really.
We don't get offended so damned easy.
Well, that too,
You
right?
know?
Where it's very hard to offend me, and quite honestly, again, we don't base friendship on, you know, your skin this, but if you bring up one word about the white race, I'm going to be like, man, we can't be friends.
Right.
No, that is just.
Right.
Anyway, so, you know, I digress. Is there would be white entertainment television channel, all hell would break loose.
Right.
Why is
Exactly.
that?
Well, and
I
you know,
mean-
they brought that up during the campaign, the presidential campaign. They tried to use that against Trump, where he had bought a golf club down. That don't sound right, a golf club, but a golfing. What the hell do you call it? You know, a golf course. Golf course.
Golf resort and course.
Right. And before he bought it, it had been basically white only. I don't know if that was their rule or not, but they tried to use that against him. And what they didn't point out was that when he took it over, he changed that. Now, I don't go hang out on golf courses. I don't know how many blacks, Mexicans, Indians, Chinese. I don't know how many people play golf of what race, you know. But they just so badly want to use that the white privilege card against us, and just being white, they want the white guy to feel so bad and guilty. It's just ridiculous. I mean, totally ridiculous. Oh, now me, I'm just a damned old hillbilly. I'm a proud one. I don't say that as a demeaning way. I'm a proud one. And I can guarantee you that nothing was given to me on my climb up to where I am now. Not that I'm that high up, but, you know, I am above ground, you know. So I had to work for everything I got. And I've talked to a few black people that was trying to explain to me this white privilege, and they was telling me that I was automatically born with it. I said, how do you figure? Oh, well, when the cops stop you, they treat you differently. Okay, maybe that's because I treat them differently. Maybe I don't come at them with an attitude and portraying that I hate them, you know? But no, that can't be it. It's got to be because I'm white. Now, is there some racial discrimination with the cops? By all means. We both know it. You know, we're big boys. And I'll bet you $1 to a donut, you go into L.A., around the Mexican part of town, and I'll bet you that some of them get treated a little bit different than you would up in your neck of the woods. It might be guilt by association. You know, it might be the neighborhood that you're hanging out in. It might be where you got stopped at. You know, it might not just because you're black or you're Mexican that they're on guard. Maybe their buddy has been shot by whatever. You know what I'm saying?
one that I probably said quite a bit that, yes, you know.
You're starting to break up something terrible. Are you walking around?
I'm actually my sliding glass door, so I'm surprised my signal. Well, maybe not surprised. I'm not surprised at all, actually.
It is spread.
It is spread, yes. So, I mean, the thing that I've said repeatedly over the past few days is a lot of the, the issues and the perception and maybe the position where certain folks find themselves in might not have to do with where you're at. Or maybe to rephrase it, this is all happening because of where they're at mentally.
Right.
Like if you are mad and upset because you think or you're perceiving your situation as unfair, maybe that's just your perception. It might not be fact. It just might be your mind saying, well, when you leave this house, you're going to get, pulled over. You already know because your skin's dark. You're going to get pulled over. You're probably going to get shot. You're going to get killed, and you're going to be a news story. If you leave the house thinking like that, you don't think your body will show that if you do get pulled over? You know you're going to start sweating. You know you're going to be nervous. You know you're probably not going to be respectful because your mind's already built up this weird perception of this is how it is, and I have to have a chip on my shoulder because I'm not happy.
Right. Well, as truck drivers, we deal with somewhat the same issues out here. Not based on race, but based on when you get caught into that scale house or you get stopped by DOT, they're reading your body language, they're reading your movements, or, your expression, your tone, they're reading everything, and that is going to determine how they're going to treat you. It ain't no different in that car. And we both know that the younger that you are, if you get stopped by the police and you got 3 of your buddies in there, you're not going to be yes or no, sir. You're going to be running that lip and trying to impress them while you're giving him a hard way. And now you've done set up the recipe for a disaster.
So one thing that I've always have shared with my kids, and my older kids have been driving for years now. My middle son is driving and he has a job and all that other good stuff. Right? Now that you're out in the world and you're a young person, that's already a strike against you. No offense, but young people, we have to, you just don't know really anything yet. You haven't really had experience in life, and if we're only talking about vehicles and cars and driving and get pulled over, one thing that I've always said is, look, once you hop into that car, you're a target, and not in the traditional sense, but mind you that a police officer in a car or a motorcycle, a highway patrol, whatever, law enforcement in general, their job is to make sure you're driving safely and your vehicle is maintained up to the law of whatever state you're in, if you will. Right? You have to have your tags on, up to date. Your stuff has to be working. Your lights have to be right. You have to, with your seatbelt on, you have to be correct, because if you're not, they will pull you over. So
Correct.
Don't give them a reason. That's really the one sentence I say, Papa Joe, is don't give them a reason. And if you're riding around with expired tags, or your license isn't straight, if you will, or if you got a broken headlight and you know it, you're asking for it.
Yep.
So don't be surprised when they do. And when they do, be respectful, because again, they didn't break your light. You chose to roll around in the car with it like that.
Yep. Well, and we can go one more farther. You remember here just a couple years ago, they had all the YouTubes where they was going through the border checks, and And I think all of them I seen was white people. I don't think I seen anybody else doing it. But they won't roll their window down but a crack. They won't answer the most simplest question, are you an American citizen?
Right.
That ain't that hard to, yeah, and you go on. They couldn't even do it then. They had to provoke the Border Patrol and just make a big scene and ordeal and try to make a point, you know? Really?
Right.
Now, what are you gaining from this other than you got you a YouTube?
Well, I mean, when you feel like you want to be combative, I mean, verbally or physically, when you're trying to be combative and you can't even, or you refuse to answer the simplest question, you're asking for the wrong kind of attention.
Yep.
And if you keep it up, again,
you're going to get what you're asking for.
Oh, absolutely, you're going to get what you're asking for. And then when you get tased, or when they break your window, or heaven forbid, you do something that has the officer or officers feeling like they're in danger, hey, they have homes and families to go to at the end of the day as well.
Right.
So don't act surprised when you're laid out on a stretcher because you chose to be combative to prove a point.
Right.
Again, don't give them a reason. They want to go home. I'm sure they want to have you go home safely. Look, get your license fixed. Look, roll down the window, man. Don't make it hard.
Right.
Roll it down. Let's just chat. Chances are, hey, it's all good. It's cool. Here's your fix-it ticket. I'm not here to haul you off to jail or whatnot. Again, when they get hauled off to jail, might be a warrant. It's not the officer's fault you have one. It's that you haven't taken care of it. So who's at fault here?
Right.
Again, respect the process.
Well, that's like one of my daughters and her husband came to Georgia to visit us, and they had to go into the airport to pick somebody up, and they decided that they was going to park their car out there in the loading and unloading zone and go in to get them something to eat. Well, first off, why would anybody willingly eat at an airport? The food ain't that great, and the prices are triple than everywhere else. And when they come out, their car's hauled off. And their car was not tagged legally. It was out of a different state. I mean, they had more issues than you could shake a stick at. So now me and Grandma is trying to help them get their stuff straight. And when we go down to Impound to help them get their car, this is when we find out how messed up it really is. Now, I was already upset because they had my two younger children. They was teenagers with them. And I had to have my nephew come get them. Grandma was out with me. And now we start finding out about how illegal the car was. And you know, they never did own up to any of that was their fault. It was all Georgia's fault. The state of Georgia did this to them. And I could not get them to understand for a minute, why is it Georgia's fault? You're the one that came down here with an illegal car. You were supposed to got this stuff fixed in your home state before when you got the car. You know?
Correct.
And that's the mentality of so many of them is, it's not my fault, it's all your fault. It don't matter what I did or didn't do, it's all your fault.
Well, I mean, in general term, you know, today's society, you know, mine is going to speak, you know, about being.
You're breaking up on me again.
I'm sorry. So, you know, just my own opinion is that, you know, today's society and members of today's society have a big problem accepting self-responsibility.
Yep. And people don't misunderstand us. We realize that bad stuff happens to good people. We realize that all black people are not bad people. All white people are not racist. All Mexicans did not sneak across the border. All Chinese don't eat cats. You know, we're not trying to say any of this stuff. We're just saying be a little more cautious and careful of how you are presenting yourself. You know, it isn't all the cops, because all cops ain't bad guys. You know, yeah, you're going to find some, just like there's bad truck drivers, you know. But you have to take a little bit of responsibility. Well, no, you got to take a lot of responsibility for your actions and how you're presenting yourself. You know?
Yep.
So, it is what it is. It's a messed up world we're living in.
Well, you know, life is hard already. Life is very hard already for kids, young people, you know, teenagers, young adults and old people.
Yep.
If everybody were to play their own part and realize what part of responsibility they need to own up to, everybody needs to handle their business, if you will, and that's personal, whatever your business is, handle it. And try to be kind and good to each other. I mean, that may sound stupid to some people. Oh, you know, you live in a bubble. No, I don't. Life has been rough, man.
Yep.
And if, you know, like what I know now, I would have known then, I wouldn't have to go through all the struggles to be where I am right
Actually,
now. And again, bad stuff happens to good people. Absolutely. Yeah. So you continuously just have to try to do the right thing and just hang on.
Actually,
hang on and have faith, of course.
Tie a big knot. When you get to the end of your rope, tie a big knot and hang on. But actually, with you saying that, I just quoted that to a young driver today. I was talking to a young man, a coaching call for lack of better terminology, and no, I didn't charge him like some do. But I was speaking with him, and I told him if when I was your age, if I knew then what I know now, I would not be where I am now. And you know, hindsight's 20/20. And if people would learn to listen to some of their elders, back in the day, your elderly was held in high regard. You know, you wanted to learn from their experiences and whatnot. And nowadays, so many of them think, well, I don't know how many times I've been told that I'm stupid and I just don't understand trucking and all this other stuff. Gotcha. And you've been out here a year and you've got it figured out. Gotcha. You know, what part of this you think I'm going to believe? You know?
Right.
So.
Again, you know, respect is big. Respect is really something that can be sliced up and put into a lot of these issues and things. Again, if you got someone who wants to mentor you, I mean, don't just try to discount them because of their age or they're not the same race or anything. You might want to stop and pay attention and learn something.
Right.
Never know. You never know when the influence might hit you.
Yep. Well, and then there's some that you can't teach. I mean, I've been trying to teach you stuff for how long have we been friends now? And
yeah.
I don't know that I've got anything through that thick skull of yours.
I know. Well, I mean, you did have me eat, alligator. That was a big hurdle.
And actually, I told somebody about that today because, Luda Joe's wife, Crystal, they're hoping to come down. And Luda Joe was like, I ain't had no catfish in a while, Daddy. And I said, well, we'd cook up some catfish and some hush puppies and a little bit of gator. And she was listening in. I was on the speakerphone in his car. And she's like, gator? They eat gator? And after we talked about it a minute, I said, you need to go back and watch that video where Carlos tried it. I said, he had never tried it before either, and he wasn't sure if I was pranking him or what. Did he like it?
Yeah.
I said, well, go watch the video. You know? So, what the heck?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. All good.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And now you're trying to find it in California. I don't think California has any gators, brother.
Nah, no. I mean, there are some places that are in, Los Angeles that you could mail order them. As long as the dry ice packaging and stuff like that. I mean, from some place called the Exotic Meat Company or something.
Yeah.
Chances are I'll just wait and go see you again, and then we'll just, we'll have it fresh or whatnot. I'm good with that. So,
Well, chances are, by the time you paid the price for all that, you could buy yourself a plane ticket round trip.
that's what I'm saying.
You know?
Or I can grab me a baby gator and throw him here in my pool and wait a couple years and then have him over for.
There is that. We hadn't thought about that.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, what the heck?
But yeah, man, it's all good.
What else can we add to this video? You got anything else you want to touch base on, or you think of anything you want to add to what we've already said?
I mean, I don't really think so. But there's always something going on in the media, in the world, obviously. The world spins very fast and lots of things happen every day. Just a word of advice to all, who are watching this. Just try to be the best person you can be. Know the difference between right and wrong, because you know what? Society doesn't care. And they will judge you by whatever your beliefs are and your actions and everything. So just make sure to don't give them a reason. Just be a good person.
And I'll add a little bit more to that, and that's to be careful about who you're listening to and taking advice from, because there are so many organizations, including our government, that want to put their spin on it, and they want to use different cards, the race card and all this other stuff, to their benefit. Like I said in that video last night when I was talking about the trucking industry,